Since it's been almost a decade since he came onto the big screen, I gotta tell you, John Wick has become one of the most biggest and most intensest action thriller franchises out there. Now, I just got back from seeing the brand new installment, John Wick Chapter 4, now playing in theaters, which has gotten so much good reviews so far, and it's the highest reviewed film on the Tomato Meter. But is it as good as the critics say, or is this one film that's completely a bloodied up mess after being shot so much or slashed so much? You get the point. Here's my spoiler free review. Watch it and we'll find out. Bad Days Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Joel, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a spoiler-free review of the just now released neo-noir action thriller flick John Wick Chapter 4, released by Lionsgate for Summit Entertainment, once again directed by Chad Stahelski, written by Shahan and Michael Finch. This, of course, is the fourth overall installment of the John Wick franchise. Once again, starring Keanu Reeves in the title role, along with a few people from the previous films, including Laurence Fishburne, Ian McShane, and Lance Reddick in one of his final roles. Now, I apologize, I was going to give you a picture of him, but I do apologize, so I'm going to respectfully dedicate this film in memory of Mr. Reddick, since it's been a week since he passed away at the age of 60. So I would say rest in peace. Of course, this was one of his final roles he had finished and what have you. Also alongside for this, there's also Donnie Yen, Bill Skarsgard, Hiroyuki Sanada, Shamir Anderson, Riaz Sawayama, and Scott Adkins. Now this time, John Wick sets out to get revenge on the High Table and those who left him for dead. Now this was announced just after the success of the previous film. Now before I get started on my thoughts on this, if you have not seen my reviews of the first 3 John Wick films, I advise you to click on that card and it'll take you to the playlist, so that way you can see those before you get into this, or see them again if you wish. Anyway. Okay, now I'll do it. Now then. Now, of course, John Wick prepares to exact his revenge against the High Table while hiding underground with the Bowery King, as we saw in the end of the last film. And, well, he travels to Morocco and everything, but soon things take a turn for the worst at the New York Continental Hotel and what have you. Where the Marquis Vincent de Gramont, a senior member of the High Table, is now up to some. And I will tell you, it's really, really something. But not only that, John has to go up against several others, including a blind retired High Table assassin and an old friend of his named Kane. And I gotta tell you, this guy is like, whoa. I mean, I gotta tell you, he was better than what I saw in Daredevil, to be honest. But let's not try and get on that movie, okay? Well, or the TV show, but that's another story. But Kane here, wow. Anyway, but John, however, manages to continue his little revenge and what have you. But that's all of the story I want to give to you, okay? I don't want to give the whole thing to you. Because, again, this is a spoiler-free review. Now, my thoughts on the film was that I absolutely loved it. It was amazing. It was total mind blowing, and I don't know what have you. Now, Tyler Bates and Joel J. Richard are once again back on board to do the score, which I thought was really awesome. There's also a soundtrack as well. Now, let's see. And I will tell you, you get to hear some pretty kicking songs, including one of the last songs you hear in the film is a song called "I Would Die for You," which is by Maria Brink and the band known as In This Moment. Now, I've heard of that band before. Anyway, yeah, that was pretty good. You even get to hear kind of a different language version of the Rolling Stones song Painted Black. I know it was done by someone else, but I can't figure out who it was. But that was pretty surprising. I gotta tell you, this had much more action, more suspense and intenseness, and I don't know why have you. This was more mind blowing than the last film was, and I really thought it was superb. Now, for the cast, we once again have Keanu Reeves as John Wick. I gotta say, he gives another great performance as Wick, and that's all I can tell you. His moves in the action sequences were just blooming awesome. Donnie Yen plays Kane. He was pretty good. Bill Skarsgard, who of course recently played Pennywise in the both parts of Stephen King's It from 2017 and its second chapter from 2019, plays the Marquis Vincent de Gramont. Yes. Who is really a pretty good bad guy. Laurence Fishburne once again returns as the Bowery King. He was really good. Hiroyuki Sanada played Shimazu Koji, the manager of the Osaka Continental Hotel and also a friend of John's. Yes, he manages to go there and gets into one of the first big action-packed fights and what have you. Let's see. Shamir Anderson plays the tracker, also known as Mr. No by a bounty hunter that's pursuing John. Lance Reddick once again plays the concierge of the Continental Hotel, Sharon. Unfortunately, we only see him for a few minutes and what have you. Now, at the end of the film, they do give a little bit in memory of Lance Reddick. So that was very good for them to put that in there. Which reminds me, there is a post-credit scene at the end, but again, this is a spoiler-free review. I won't tell you what it is. No, not a chance. Rina Sawayama plays Akira, Koji's daughter and concierge of the Osaka Continental. She was pretty good. Scott Adkins plays Killa, the head of the German table. And an individual who has one thing in common with John. They have the same enemy. And Ian McShane once again returns as the New York Continental's manager, Winston Scott. There's also Clancy Brown in this. I think you know that, as you see him in Pet Sematary 2 and lots of other movies. And of course, you know him as the voice of Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob SquarePants. I almost say plants, my bad. Plays the Harbinger, a high-ranking operative of the High Table. So I'm going to say he was good too. I think they were all good. Now, the film's gotten a ton of good reviews. The film currently sits at 95%, which that's 9% higher than the first film and 6% higher than than the second and third ones. So that's excellent. According to Rotten Tomatoes, they say this piles on more of everything and suggests that when it comes to a well-dressed Keanu Reeves dispatching his enemies in lethally ballet style, there can never be too much. I couldn't have said it better myself. This was absolutely, again, a mind-blowing, action-packed movie. I really loved it. I really loved the action sequences. A special one scene takes place at night and involves car chasing, but I'm not going to get into the details of it. You're just going to have to see the movie. So, again, spoiler-free review. Anyway, everybody loved the action sequence and performances. Unfortunately, some critics lamented at the runtime. 169 minutes. That's over a half hour more than the previous film. But that would have been the first time because now, according to, I think it was this is tough to figure out and what have you. um, yeah. According to Stahesky, he described there was a longer version which ran for 225 minutes as screwed because the expanded world building of its title character and the introduction of new characters made their screen time increase. So, yeah, that would have been a good thing, though. So, I think the runtime's fair and all. I mean, it could just use a wee bit trimming, but not a whole lot. As long as they kept the good action sequences in, I think this film would be just fine. So overall, I would recommend you see John Wick Chapter 4. I loved it. I think this was better than the last one. I mean, I loved the third one, but this one cranked it up a notch or two. Again, great cast, great characters, great story, great action sequences, great score, great soundtrack, etc., etc., etc. So overall, I think this is worth looking into. For my score, I'm going to give John Wick Chapter 4 5 stars, which means on a scale of 1 to 10, it gets a 10. So what did you think of John Wick Chapter 4? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And stay tuned next time. I'll be bringing to you the next episode of The Wide World of Game Shows with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, check out my reviews for my spoiler-free reviews for these recent action films. In the upper left-hand corner is my review on a recent hit, well, sort of recent hit for Reeves, and that's The Matrix Resurrections from 2021. The upper right-hand corner is my review on Violent Night from last year. Or if you would like something else a little different, but with horror and a little comedy in it, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my review of Megan, which came out earlier this year. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.